article from the LA Times, and if you're a homeschooling parent or you're probably an anti-vaxxer, you have probably seen this one. So the article is called "Most Anti-Vaccine Parents Are Choosing to Homeschool Their Kids in California." And the caption above it is, "Parents are exploiting a loophole in California's vaccine law that lets homeschooled children skip their shots." Okay, so California passed one of the strictest bills in the United States that basically the only way you can go to a school and not be vaccinated is, or partially vaccinated, is to have a medical exemption. So out goes your philosophical exemption. So if you were a vegan and you're against the use of animal products in vaccines, not for you. Religious people, so if you believe that God created your body just the way it was meant to be, and you shouldn't have things made with human body and animal parts injected into your body, or you're against, you're anti-abortion and you don't want anything to do with aborted fetuses in the creation of vaccines and things like that. I don't know enough on other religions to know maybe what other was, but generally we think, well, you think California is supposed to be this super more liberal state, especially compared to like where I live in Texas, which you can say we're conservative, and maybe to some degree we are. So California tends to be all about bodily autonomy and freedom to love who you love, and a myriad of things like that. And here we go saying, well, you know what? Just kidding. You believe in bodily autonomy? That doesn't apply to vaccines. Oh, you're pro-choice? Oh, but that doesn't apply to vaccines. You can't do that. Oh, you believe healthcare decisions should be made between a woman and her doctor? Not if you don't want to vaccinate. Oh, we're gonna trust women and to make their healthcare decisions unless they don't want to vaccinate their kids. Oh, believe women when they tell you they have been sexually assaulted by another man, but you're not gonna believe a woman when she tells you she saw before her eyes what happened to her child. Okay? Now, if you want to know more of my stance on vaccines, you can watch my previous one of my previous videos, and I'll tell you that I'm straight up, I'm not against vaccinating my children, okay? But I'm very supportive of people that choose not to, okay? So, but kind of what I wanted to focus more on this is not so much the vaccination, but just the whole, like, it's like an attack on homeschoolers. And I'm not super familiar with all the homeschool laws in California and things like that. Texas is, you could say, is kind of super liberal in a sense that you can kind of do whatever you want in Texas to homeschool. There's very, very few requirements and things like that, so you have a lot of freedom. California, I think you still have to be, the state's still going to know whether you're homeschooling. But this idea that they're exploiting a loophole, no. Senator Pan, this guy who passed these draconian medical tyranny laws, basically said, and all these people are like, well, we don't want your disease-ridden kids around our kids in public school, so homeschool them. So what are they doing? They're turning to homeschooling, okay? They're like, you know what? My child had a reaction, I don't want to, or whatever I don't care what their reason are. And so it's just like almost now we're going to bash homeschoolers. They're coming after homeschoolers. They are doing it. They're going to come after homeschoolers. Okay? But kind of what was kind of killing me so much, the article, I'll post a link into it, and it's just like a whole bunch of just baloney crap. It's not a loophole, it's the law. You can't call something a loophole when it's legal and it's the law. They put the law in place, okay? So, there's things like, this comments like, great, while you're at it, let's keep them out of all of the public at all times. Yes, because they think people that don't have their vaccines are weirdly carrying around these diseases. Okay, I never had a tuberculosis vaccine because that wasn't ever on the schedule. It's not on the schedule. I don't have tuberculosis, but thousands of other people do. Okay, kids with hepatitis and HIV go to school because you can't discriminate against a person with a, you could say, a pre-existing medical condition or whatever. Then let's see. Oh, this comment. I'm going to assume that these parents who choose to homeschool their children have to meet some sort of criteria in order to qualify as a teacher. Obviously, they must earn enough money that one of them doesn't have to work to support the family, which is rare around America. You can make it work, okay? If we're living on a meager income, we cut our income in half. If my husband is not, he makes the pay of a teacher. I mean, that's kind of what his pay is, and the joke that you need to be qualified. Yeah, let me tell you about some of the teachers I worked with. Maybe I'll do a video about that sometime. But I really don't want to bash, because I did work with some wonderful teachers. But let me tell you, my first year teaching, sorry kids, I got better. You get better. Teachers usually get better unless they get old, and then they kind of can get worse sometimes. And this person says, good, they can stay in their delicate little bubble. Yes, they think, why in the world are, this is what, 2019, and we're still thinking like these homeschoolers are living in some bubble that we don't ever get out in social. No, that's what people really think I've learned on the internet. Then person, can they be banned from other state and federally funded places too, like parks and libraries? How about privately owned places? Would love to see a big sign on Dodger Stadium or Westfield Mall. No entry unless properly vaccinated. Yes, people want them to carry papers around. It's like you really want to sit there and carry your little card around saying, I've been vaccinated. And then, not to make light of immigrants, and but we know that California is very pro illegal immigration and being sanctuary cities. I'm like, oh yeah, let all these people come here. Who do you think has a lot of the diseases sometimes? Okay? No, I'm not saying they're not vaccinated. I'm not saying they're dirty and disgusting people and that they should be forbidden in this country. But let's face it, those people coming in are not vaccinated. And I talked to someone who was a nurse or something on the border. I can't remember. And she said, yeah, they're coming in with a lot of these diseases, even things that we typically don't see in the U.S. because they are coming from third world countries, and sometimes they're, whatever. Okay, but it's not just these kids. Let's see. There's one. Less educated, less social, because they cannot be around other kids except ones like themselves. Well, isn't that a great life for a kid? Sort of like a commune, because their parents will have to curtail their activities too. Less educated? More often than not, homeschoolers on a whole we know are smarter than public school kids. Okay, not saying there's not exceptions, because there probably are some kids that are homeschooled in the sense that their parents just don't do anything and they just input them in public schools. Homeschooling doesn't mean they don't go out in public, endangering other children. Personally, I find that homeschool children have fewer social skills, so these parents are harming their children for fake science. Yeah. Homeschoolers do go out in public, believe it or not. They go to the library. Your kids are in school, and then they cough and they sneeze and they get their germs all over everything in the library. Now, whatever, my kids only get sick more often when they're like, go to the library, and they like put their mouth and they touch everything. It's kind of gross. So sometimes I don't even like taking them to the library, because then usually it's the baby that gets sick, Okay, this one I thought was kind of a funny one, and I try not to laugh reacts on people's comments, because I think that kind of is just childish. I mean, sometimes they're funny. This one, I know lots of parents who homeschool their kids and don't do a good job at it. Their kids wind up being antisocial and have a hard time forming relationships outside of home. They also aren't self-aware or that they are adults and are heavily codependent of their parents well into their 30s. I have a friend who wants to retire soon, but who has to pay for his adult kids' bills because he refuses to work and his wife won't let him teach his son how to be a man. The wife took him out of elementary school because he was being bullied, in quotes there, decided to homeschool him. Sad. Which I did kind of respond and said, interesting, because I've actually met a lot of adults that were homeschooled either all the way through or most of the way, and you can tell no difference between my friends and other peers other than they tend to be, I think, more open-minded about certain things. But no, this is like a parenting issue. You have kids that went to public school that are still in their 30s living with their parents, and their mamas and daddies are babying on taking care of them. This one, these people are candidates for the Darwin Award. Got polio? Really? Like, do they not understand that how polio is treated? No, of course they don't. Most of these people don't know. It says, sorry, kind of lost this comment. I did see one person that had said, what were these parents like? Not vaccinated, or were they injured or something? And then the person said, yes. You know, in this case, I was vaccinated, but my kid was injured. And the person's like, oh, thank you for the reply. I was like, oh, what a nice person. So I liked her. I liked her comment because I was like, you know. And then there's the whole, there are far too many people of all ages with a compromised immune system, blah, blah, blah. I'm kind of focusing more, trying to more on the home school thing. Makes me sick that these parents are able to skirt the law this way. Barring them from K-12 school is a great first step, but we need to be thinking about increasingly severe monetary penalties against anti-vaxxer parents. Maybe we can at least get some potholes filled thanks to their negligence. Yes, let me tell you, I promise you, if you are going to homeschool your kids and you are consistent and you care, you're not barring them from a K-12 education. You are providing them a real education, something you're not going to be able to do otherwise. Here's one. Every homeschool person I've ever met is just weird, and so are their parents. Let me tell you how many weird people I've met and kids that I taught that were weird and antisocial, and guess what? They're in public school, and their parents went to public school. Like, if you're weird, you're going to have weird kids. It doesn't kind of matter whether you're public schooled or homeschooled. And all the homeschool kids I've been around, like, I can tell no major differences in their social skills compared to public school periods. I can't say they're any more or less shy because my children are super shy, and I think they would be very shy in public school, and so they're going to be shy kind of around other kids and other people. That's just kind of who they are. I was the same way as a kid. I just didn't talk to people until I was like really hit my teenage years. I was a shy kid and I went to public school. Oh, my brother, same way. And it just kind of goes on, and it's almost like it's just kind of making it look like it's just a way to bash homeschoolers, and that people are these parents are suddenly depriving them of an education. And that's just not why most people homeschool. Like, yes, I have met a lot of homeschoolers that either don't vaccinate, or they only partially vaccinated their kids, or they stopped vaccinating their kids because of something. But I've met plenty that, as far as I know, are fully vaccinated, or maybe their kid's a little behind on the schedule. I don't care that my kid hasn't been vaccinated against whatever yet, because I'm gonna wait. And so what if they hang out with a kid I don't care. I just don't. I think we all homeschool because we care about our kids, okay? One person did said, and I kind of did like her comment. She goes, man, it's kind of sad that it takes anti-vaxxers to get people to homeschool. And I was like, that is kind of sad. Anyway, that's kind of all I got to say about that. I will put a link to the LA Times article, but it's just ridiculous that, but yeah, I really think California just homeschoolers, they're gonna come after you guys, and I'm sorry. And if you want to come move to Texas, that's fine. And as much as I can say I'm not a fan of either political party by any means, you can't vote for the same dang people, like, that are gonna vote for these strict homeschooling laws and strict vaccine laws. Like, use your brain, okay? They mostly happen to be Democrats. I know Robert Kennedy Jr.? I think he's like Democrat, and he's super on board about choice and medical freedom, and I really appreciate that when a politician will step outside their normal party system to be principled on something, and I can really appreciate that about anyone on either side. But I think that's a pretty rare thing these days. Anyway, tell me maybe your dumbest homeschooling comment you've heard that we all know is a bunch of baloney.